There is a person who assigned for this task, so he will be there. But I'm not staying for this one.
Only three in the last and the fourth.
हेलो सर, मुझे मुझे सिर्फ टेनेंट चाहिए सर, प्रॉपर्टी में।
ನಿನ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೇನು ಬಂದಾಗ
Good afternoon, everybody. Madam will be joining another 10 minutes, okay?
Okay, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ವಾ?
Good afternoon, madam.
Where's the video?
She's switched off.
First of all, from meeting to switch on, switch off. Do a session.
No, she's on only.
Not right to us.
Computer. Mute.
You can start.
Okay. No.
Not well, it seems. Can't see the video. Mute.
Yeah, just give me 5 seconds. I'm starting.
Okay, madam.
Okay, good evening to all of you. I'm so sorry that I was stuck in traffic today, so I was late. Let me just start. Give me a few seconds. Okay, so today the agenda of this particular, session is that I'm going to speak on two things. One, I'm going to take one case study of a company, and then secondly, my majority of my topic will be on AI with no code, and I will be doing some exercises on certain software, and I will tell you how do we go about it. Last class, if you remember, I told you web development without any coding. So today, actually, we are working and we are moving from, in the world, we are moving from coding to no coding solution. So we're going to focus on that. I'll give you some exercise also to do it on those sites. And later on in the next session, you can see your experience, right? This not be an evaluation parameter, but then I would like you to experiment that. Okay. So let's start. So can you all see? Anybody can tell me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today, this is a second session for AI, and where I will be taking you to the certain solutions and certain innovative or inventive ways how AI is used by the industry. And I'll take you to those sites also, and let us see how it is done. And then we'll move to no coding AI. Okay. So the first thing is that the first case study is very interesting, which says that can artificial intelligence help protect these animal which is from extinction, like endangered animal. So, as we all know that AI work with historical data. AI work well with certain set of data sets. And I think somebody is Neha from Kavita. If somebody can mute her, if she's traveling on the way and she is, okay, fine. So many corporations and many companies are actually struggling to find out that how these volumes of data which is generated, how do we use that, and how do we basically blend it with the AI technology without sacrificing the quality and the kind of the missing opportunity which we have. So AI solution, what they do is they offer a way to save your time and energy on these data which the corporate doesn't know what to do with this, the big data which we talk about. How do we use this data? Which of these data are useful? How do we utilize and in the organization to improve our business outcomes? So we look at some artificial intelligence example which will highlight how companies are integrating AI into their operations. So the first case is this where I just ask you that sorry, I'm so sorry, that can artificial intelligence help protecting these animals from extinction? Now, Wildtrack is one organization. It is like a non-business organization, like an NGO, which works toward environmental, savior. They specialize in non-invasive wildlife monitoring, right? They track and protect the endangered wildlife animals, especially in Africa continent. And they started using AI, artificial intelligence, to create something which is called the animal tracking skills, which normally the local people, the African local people in the village or tribal area near the forest area knows. So they wanted to identify the process of a number of these endangered species from a very traditional method used in Africa by the tribal people or by the people who are not so educated, who stay in those area near the forest. And this method was to identify footprints, and from the footprint, short and classify which animal footprint it is. And not only that, that they can do the classification from the footprint, from an image, and identify that which animal footprint it is. They use basically this particular footprint to identify the number of animal of that species. They will tell, okay, fine, this is the footprint of a tiger, and how many tigers are there, and how many are newly added, like newly birth are taken by a pub or something like that. So this is a traditional way of identifying and counting the number of animals or the type of animal species there in the forest, which is a traditional method. Now what we have done is, what basically a company has done, they have used the power of AI and language analytics, which was named as SAS VIA, sorry, to automate this particular solution, where they can count the number of endangered species and help them in protecting. So basically, if you see the particular case studies in wildlife conservation, artificial intelligence product which they have used is ISVIA and SAS Analytics, SAS VIA and SAS Analytics. The outcome of this particular technology was that they save time and resources in analyzing the thousands of images. What happens? The footprint of these animals are so what they do is basically they initially they used to take a image of all these footprint and create a database, and then analyze how many number of particular species is left over, how many died, how many new birth, especially of endangered animal, and how to protect them. and somebody is doing annotation. Can you people please tell your students or somebody to stop doing this nonsense? We're all professional and we expect a professional behavior here. We're not a school going kids, right? So that we will start doing at drawing, annotation and all. If you're doing this, I'll stop it. Because I don't know whether you are regarding this time as a precious learning time. I regard this as a very sincere and precious time. So now the crowd, so what they did, they took a lot of images, and these images they try to classify and identify which kind of animal it is and how many are there left. And this crowdsourcing footprint image, they do this from everywhere. That today the crowdsourcing word is very, very famous, crowdfunding, crowdsourcing. So what they do is many people or many environmentalists, the people who are adventurous in nature or who have this hobby of going in this and tracking these animals, they may take these images, and that's how the images comes from various places in Africa. And these footprint of these animals are basically used for tracking those. So what we are going to do is, now I'm going to basically take you to the site, and then we will see that how this happens. So just give me a few seconds. I'll just share this with you all. So I'm going to take you directly to the site of this particular company and how they have used and utilized. So let us see first a video and then we'll go ahead. So the topic is, can artificial intelligence help protecting this animal from extinction? The answer lies in their footprint. So how can we use a footprint image and identify that how many animals, endangered animals are left and how to protect it? Let's see this.
My name is Lisa. I like living in Namibia because Namibia is beautiful. There are all the animals and plants. There are some people who want to kill animals like the lions and cheetahs. I like to teach them. There are not many left.
"100 years ago, we had somewhere in the region of 100,000 cheetahs in the world. Today, the number stands at just 7,100. And these are flagship species. As they disappear, they represent the disappearance of a huge chunk of the biodiversity that goes with them.
Biodiversity is what supports all the things that we need as humans, and yet it's disappearing much faster than any of us realize. One way that we've started approaching monitoring of endangered species is to look at their footprints.
Yeah, look, I think we've got something here. That's cheetah, definitely.
We've learned from working with indigenous trackers over many years in Africa that we can use footprints to identify species, age class, individuals, and sex.
Do you have any thoughts about whether it's male or female? What do you think?
It's not talking. Right. It means that it's a female. Right.
So it's interesting that our algorithm is picking up some of the things that you're doing in your mind, right?
We came up with a mathematical model, and this is where SAS comes in, starting with importing images, and then we use those to derive the metrics, which then allows us to do the analysis.
We're depending on data and analytics to protect these animals, and now we're beginning crowdsourcing from around the world. So ordinary people who wouldn't necessarily be able to dart a rhino, but they can take an image of a footprint. We've got data coming in from everywhere, too many data for us to manage traditionally, and that's really where artificial intelligence comes in.
The big question is, can artificial intelligence do what indigenous trackers can do?
When we see an indigenous tracker look at a footprint, we realize there's a huge gulf between that and what machine intelligence is currently able to do. It's just millions of years of evolution that have allowed us to be able to identify these patterns. And it's a big challenge in image processing.
identifying footprints is a very tedious process to be able to sort and classify them. So to be able to take that one task that's a repetitive task and automate it seemed like a natural fit for an AI solution. And it required a lot of expertise and insight from Zoe and Sky to help us train the computer to categorize the footprints the same way a human tracker would.
So essentially what the heat map is attempting to do is to pick up those edges.
This heat map is kind of visualizing what our deep learning model is looking at and just thinking that part of images is important to distinguish it's a cheetah print or a tiger print.
The red section is a bit that's actually standing out as representing the footprint.
Yeah, like because we are predicting the footprint. So we overlay.
Getting 100% accuracy in this project is very challenging, but we'll get there. For this one, we need more data. We need more scientists to contribute to this project so that we can really solve this problem.
I'm excited about the potential of artificial intelligence because I think that one of the hugest challenges we face is how to protect our planet, our ecosystem. And the way that we can solve it is by bringing in data from all parts of the world in a hugely magnified scale, much, much more than we have at the present. These data have incredible value in conservation. If we don't know where the animals are and how many there are, we can't begin to do things like working out where animals should be protected, looking at animal-human conflict. These are all global conservation questions that conservation biologists all over the world need answers to.
I think we exist in a world today trying to use artificial intelligence. And our challenge is how to harness this in order to answer some of the most fundamental questions and create an environment where there's room for us and all the rest of the species in this world.
Okay, so you have seen how they collected, the huge chunk of data sets, which was the image, and with the computer vision technology, or with the AI, one of the domain of the AI, computer vision, they could try to identify and differentiate. So we have a technology in AI called neural network to basically try to differentiate and classify the different set of data which have the similar kind of characteristics. And there's a slight difference which can, which is most of the time can't be, it's not possible for human eye to differentiate. Only an expert person can do. So there are various domains of AI like expert system, fuzzy logic, neural network. All these kinds of domains basically allow the computer to give a human-like intelligence. So neural network also give an intelligence to a computer to understand from the image, especially from the image, which we also can say computer vision, to identify just like a human eye, whether these are, to differentiate between a very similar looking pattern. So now, for example, if me and you, we go to these jungles and see this footprint, we will not be even able to tell that these footprints belong to a particular animal and which animal it is, whether it is male, female, forget about that. So what happens? There are an expertise required, and these are the indigenous trackers who don't have any education, nothing but their experience, from where they could just see a footprint and not even tell the kind of animal it is, differentiate whether it is cheetah or it is tiger or it is or panther. They can also tell the gender. They can also tell whether the age of the animal. So that kind of prediction they can do. And this is what they wanted to build it with AI. So they wanted to build an algorithm or mathematical model which can take a data set of all these images of the animal footprint and identify that this footprint belong to which animal and how many of these animals are left in a particular region or in a particular area. So this is what the AI could do. So I will just take you through the entire cases and the entire thing. So as I said, the tracker tell a collective story, which hold an incredible value of conservation and all these things we've already seen. Artificial intelligence may help us recreate some of the skill which is used by these indigenous trackers who with their experience can go to an extent and tell and identify not only the animal type, but their sex, the number of animals in that particular species in that area. So the wild track researchers also wanted to imitate or the same kind of expertise which this indigenous tracker had, to identify from the footprint that number of what kind of animal it is, what kind of gender it is, and how many of these animals are left in a particular area. Now they can do it with a particular area. So with the crowdsourcing, what has happened is in Africa, from different places, different forests, they got all the images, and from this image they could identify and come up with a solution which used the deep learning and also this the image data and do the similar kind of a task which an indigenous tracker or an expert can do, to identify the footprint image, to recognize a pattern. Like an indigenous tracker, they have the ability to understand the number of, the population of a particular species in an entire region. So this is how it has done. So we will just go ahead and see. I'll show you the solution. So AI researcher can help to give the cheetah a fighting chance. Cheetah, which is less in number, almost an endangered animal. So if you can see the statistic, the cheetah population has seen 93% decline over the past century, no longer found in 76% of their former habitat in Africa. And if you can see, cheetah rarely prey on domestic animal, yet many of are killed based on the assumption of being threat to a livestock. Highly sought after cheetah cubs are smuggled from Africa, with only 1 in 6 surviving the journey. So crowdsourcing the data is next important step towards conservation of the future of the endangered animal. So I will just show you the solution of AI. So I'll take you to the site. You can also create a kind of a login and take a trial. So this is SAS via. Just give me a few seconds. Yes. So this is the solution, the artificial intelligence solution. I will post these sites, on your chat box. If you are interested, you can just go through this particular company. And if you see, the company has provided the AI solution for almost all the industry sectors like banking, healthcare, life science, manufacturing, and retailing. And this is the first time they did something like this. So you can try this SaaS for free. For your organization. You can see, I will request all the students to go through this and see. So why choose SAS for AI? This is a company name, and they basically are telling about that how their AI capability can automate the solution for them, how the machine learning to computer vision to NLP, the natural language processing, which we use basically in the personal assistance, whereas to the forecasting and optimizing, all these can be leveraged through the AI technology. So you can see what kind of solution they have provided. The machine learning and deep learning, language processing, different companies and their solution. So I can't show you everything, but I will just post this particular site in your chat box, and I want everybody to go through this and see. You can make a note of this. We don't have that time, but I would request all the training center that let the student go through this site and understand the real-time application of machine learning and AI, how the NLP, computer vision, and the other technology, like for example, the machine learning, the computer vision, the NLP, how do we use that in the industry application, in which kind of application it can be used, and how it can be. So all these can be, you can just choose an industry over here, and you can see an AI solution which this company has provided. So this is a very nice site. I thought of discussing it with you. You can see what they can do. If you click on this, You just have to create a login ID, and you can go through the different kinds of model. You can have a free trial also. You can learn the software also. They give you free trial. They can give you the free access. So I will request all the training center that you have a free access, on demand access for academics, which I have. So you can just go and click on this, get free access. And this particular software, you can help the students to see that how the industry is using, this particular AI tools, whether it is machine learning or computer vision or NLP, to come out with the industry application, and how do they solve the particular problem over there. Okay. So you can just go through this. They have also a kind of a application for the people to crowdsource the footprint to them on this site, which can help them see the better data sets they have, better is the accuracy of the prediction which they can do. So this is, again, I will just put this site on your chat box. Make sure that you go through this and you understand. And I'll move to some other cases, but I will like to go to the no coding AI instead of cases, because I was thinking one case at a day we will do. Okay. One more case I will take. This is a pure tech global company. And this is a telecommunication company. It offers telecommunication service in 13 countries. And also they have certain applications on music, games, and video content. And PureTech also has invested recently into the OTT platform, over the top, which we say, services. And they also wanted, to adopt the use of AI and machine learning in their apps, and with the help of also the cloud computing, which is AWS, and also they were using eCloud value. They wanted to do a research and understand the solution which they can bring to help driving the billing process. So what they have done is, just a minute, they use this product called Amazon Forecast on AWS, Amazon Simple Storage Services, AWS Glue, and AWS Lambda. And using this particular services, they could get this particular outcome from the technology tool, which was like 20% increase in their billing renewal, because they wanted their subscriber to subscribe every month or yearly subscription. Like, for example, if you want to subscribe or you want to see Netflix, you have to basically subscribe. So you will subscribe for 1 year. After that, you have to renew your billing, or you have to renew subscription. So they were seeing that the number of renewal is actually dropping every year or every month. People are taking 1 month subscription, 2 months or 3 month subscriptions, and after that it was dropping. So they wanted to actually know what is the reason for that, and they wanted to increase the number of renewal in their subscriptions. So with the help of the technology, they could identify the fault and they can implement a solution so that they can increase the 20% increase in the billing. They also got a lot of data sites from data. See, AI doesn't work without data. You need data to basically help. So PureTech developed the mobile advertisement solution, and they actually understood that where they are going wrong. So they found that the web-based applications are not actually attracting people. So they came into a solution where they found that smartphone is the number of usage of smartphone is increasing day by day. Digital literacy is increasing. Digital divide is reducing. So in terms of that, people are more fond of watching any entertainment or playing any games on mobile rather than on laptop. So they thought of developing a mobile advertisement solution, and through that they could develop the game, the wallpaper services they started. They also started the OTT platform of video streaming certain kinds of regional movies. And in 13 countries, for example, when they launched in Malaysia in 2008, the company also realized, you all know that Netflix is also on Amazon Web Service, their entire content. So this company also in Malaysia in 2008 used the Amazon Web Service for its IT infrastructure. And the mobile apps also, which on through which they were providing the solution, they tried to understand where they're going around, how they could increase the number of new renewal in the subscriptions, how they can basically understand each particular country where they're expanding, what is the collection of the content which the particular customers or the consumers in that particular region and the country would like, and how the AI will enable the billing system with certain things. So I will take you to that side also. So this is a PureTech global company. So just take you to the site. You can see here, they redefined the IT with the cloud. This is the certain kinds of analysis they have done. This is the overall architect. They use Lambda, Dynamo, all these kinds. I'm going to take you now to the site. So you can see now this is a PureTech global leverage company, which has global telecom company, which has used the AI to optimize their billing revenue to increase the number of subscriptions. So they launched this AI, and now with the coming of 5G, which is already there in Europe, but in India it is still to come. In certain developing country it is already there. With 5G, the OTT platform is going to become very big, because with one click you can download the entire movie. That kind of speed it will be. So PureTech wanted to come out with a solution so that they can increase the number of subscribers. They can make them renew their bill. So they use basically the Amazon web service. So what are the different kinds of web service they have used? You can see here. They have PureTech engaged cloud eValley, AWS premium consulting partner. They also use the Amazon forecast services, Amazon simple storage, which is S3, simple storage services to store the content, Amazon Glue for integration, Amazon Dynamo DB for low latency database and forecasting the data, Amazon AWS AppSync for APIs. So these are the certain products which they have used. If you can see here, this is the S3, Amazon S3, Lambda, Glue, Forecast, S3 again, Dynamo AP, AppSync. These are all AWS infrastructure they have used. So I would request that if the students can go to all these services, Amazon Forecast, Amazon S3, Glue, and Lambda, and learn little bit. Every of these, if you go to all these kinds of, the link, you will find the video tutorial also. So it's not necessary that trainer had to train them. The problem is that if the students can take the responsibility of their self-learning, they can learn beyond what you people are teaching them. So this is my request. So now I'm going to go to my real teaching, or what I thought of doing it today. So just give me a few seconds. Yeah. So today my main topic is low code or no code AI platform. Any idea what it is? Anybody can tell me anything? In the chat box, you can put. That, see, you all know that for AI, you require the knowledge of Python, R, like whatever, right? But no-code AI is a kind of technology tools which basically help to build AI solutions without coding. That means zero coding, no coding. No coding AI is also a technology which helps you in creating a very good web and mobile interface. And you can even use a spreadsheet, a simple data pull up from a spreadsheet. You can train the AI and build out the AI model very easily without any coding. So when I'm talking about artificial intelligence, there are many applications. It can be for example, a voice assistant that you're interacting with it. It can be a facial recognition system, which will let you in certain airports in Europe. There is a system where you can move inside the airport only through the facial recognition system, or maybe during the immigration also they check your face through the camera, and through your retina they can recognize you. Or you, if you want to open your iPhone or any phone, if you want to do a predictive maintenance in the manufacturing industry, where you can predict that what machines are going to fail in future and what kind of maintenance is required. So what I was trying to tell is that possibilities are endless. So you can do n number of possibilities with AI. Now, is this possible with no code AI? Can no code AI be used for a lot of things? Can it be used for building like AI, which can predict whether an aeroplane part will fall before the people board a plane? You might have heard about those Utopia and two aircraft aircraft crash which happened, and there was a DCMS, Boeing air part which had used a kind of a system to avoided these kinds of accident. What happens when a plane take off? It has to go in a particular angle up and then come into a level of the plane angle, the straight angle, and then it has to move to the destination. And when it is landing, it has to have the what you said, neck down and the tail up, but normally which we say the nose of the aeroplane. So what happens normally, now we have a system where if the pilot is not able to straighten or bring the plane into a plane same angle, straight angle, what it does, the automated pilot system, the autopilot system can do that. So can we do that with no code AI? So can you build a target list, for example, in a company, a sales for call a customer? You might be sometime wondering when you get a call from a call center and they call you and they say that, hello, ma'am, am I talking to this person? And I've heard that you, do you need a loan? Maybe you might be thinking, or you might have searched certain site for car loan, let's say, for example, and you start getting call and you wonder that, how do they know that I'm looking for some car loan? So how these customer scale say service agent get the list of the people to whom they should call? How do they find their potential customers who actually have the need for that product? They can't randomly call people because they've got a database and they call everybody and the person says, no, I don't want to buy a car. So they will buy those people who are really looking for it. So how it is possible? So what happens normally, student, is no code AI is like an hammer. It's a tool to nail your customer problem to the ground. So we will look into some example of that. For example, I'm going to really take you to the sites where we can use the no code AI and differentiate between certain images. For example, I will take the example of dogs and moths, right? To identify using a computer vision or image whether it's a dog or it's a moth. So AI can predict and differentiate, as I was telling you, that through footprint, how a wildlife indigenous tracker can tell whether this footprint belongs to which animal, which gender, what is the age, and how many of them are left. Similarly, this kind of expertise can be built with no-code AI tools. So there is a kind of a tool which I'm going to use today. It is called Teachable Machine with with google.com. And with your so I will also do some example and show you live demo of some no code AI tools, and then you can try it out later. I'm not going to give you any assignment on that, but I will give you a GitHub repository of the LinkedIn course which I have done long time back, and I will give you the repository where you can get the data sets to do all these kinds of things, because in spite of you collecting those data, whether it's an image data, text data, or whatever, I want you to do that. So basically, let's go ahead and see how these are done. So as I said that no code AI can be like a hammer, which can nail and get you the things which you can want. So we will also see that what kind of solution, AI solution, can be built with no code, because no code AI will have certain limitation. So let's go ahead and we can see that. So this is the tool which I'm going to use. You can go through the tutorial. It is very, very easy to learn. It is called Teachable Machine with google.com. And this is the tool which I'm going to use to create a AI training model and predict something, or maybe identifying a pattern. So when we're talking about the first question which should come in our mind is, what is possible with no code AI? Can we do everything which we can do with coding, like an R and Python? So what happens here is that when we talk about no code AI is a tool that help you in bringing your business knowledge to the customer. So let us look into some example first, and then try to understand that how no code AI can work with the data, which can be in any form, which can be a form of image, which can be a sound data, to identify, for example, there are certain sounds and you record those sounds and you have a database of a sound, and no code AI can it tell that, identify that this, what is the source of that sound? And can no code AI through a set of the image identify, for example, if I want to identify a dog species, and can it identify which dog species it is it, whether it is a text or a number, can we train the AI? So let us start with some example. So I've taken your example, like there's a girl called Isha who's in accounting, and she can use her knowledge about the past audit, how she can use no code AI to, she's a non-engineering, all these people, some of them are engineering students and some of them are non-engineering students. Like for example, Isha is in accounting, specialized in accounting, but she has no knowledge on coding. Similarly, Teju is, engineering student. He has certain knowledge about coding. He knows R and Python. Then again, Sam is in customer support. He has no knowledge about the machine learning or maybe the AI tools. Nahan is also in marketing. How these all people can leverage AI and use the no-code AI tool to do the same work which we can do with coding. Okay, so let's start with Isha in accounting. Now Isha can use her knowledge about the past audit, which she has built her expertise in, to build an AI to predict which customer may default on their customer payable. Right? She's in accounting department. She's basically dealing with the account receivable and account payable. So she can use the past data, the audit data of the accountings, and build the AI model to predict whether. So this is basically we are using in predictive and prescriptive analytics. So I'm going to talk about that little after this particular slide. So she can basically understand which customer is not going to pay them, the account payable which has to receive from the past data. It is possible to predict which customer is not going to pay or they are going to default on payable. Similarly, now Teju is also engineer. Now he can also look at the customer and use the AI no code AI tool to help building a product with a new innovation. He can also help the Sam from a customer support to build a chatbot with no code AI. So let's say the Sam is taking the phone calls, and the time he can't take a phone call, he want to build a chatbot which can chat and answer the most frequently asked question or commonly asked customer questions. So from his 5 years experience, that what customer might ask, what are the common questions which customer can ask, he can build with no code AI a chat box. Nahan, who is in marketing, and he need to know his consumer behaviors, he can also sign and he can also use the no code AI to understand who are the people and how to personalize the email marketing, email campaign to different customers and send them personalized offers. So he can build an AI to tell him that which is the best channel for a customer to target them, or maybe if the company is planning to launch a new product, which is the best channel, whether it is a traditional channels like TV or radio, or it is a digital media channel like social media sites. For example, if he is basically trying to reach the college students or in Bangalore or maybe in Delhi or in these areas, he might think of using the social networking site. So like this, from his past experience, from the past data, he can build an AI model and train the AI model to predict. And this all can help him in building this. So this is how there are many common problems in our day-to-day life which we face in our business, day-to-day operational problems. This operational problem can be solved with help of the data, the past data, which is obviously a food for AI, and no-code AI. So no-code AI can use the previous data or the historical data to build an AI model or train an AI model to predict, okay, and take help in taking decisions, right? Now let's see, there can be a problem which these people want to solve. So what types of problem a particular AI model can solve for the people like I have just shown you, like Sam or Tejumed and all these people, or Isha. So the problem which a particular no-code AI can solve is prescriptive or predictive. Prescriptive problems means where you know the solution already, where the solution, the kind of a process and operation, where you have a set structured process and you know it is not novel in nature, and you know that if you apply this solution, this is going to give you a desired outcome. So maybe an operational and a structured decisions can be used in building a no-code AI model. So if you know a set of steps that can be used for solving a particular business issues or a problem, you can use no-code AI. If you know that, for example, like in Ahan case, he knows that these are the common questions which are commonly asked by the customers every time when they call. And what can be the possible answers for that? He can build a chatbot with a no-code AI with that. So you don't need a coding in that. In prescriptive means when you already know the step, when you already know a solution and the structured step to solve that. Predictive means not a set of steps that can be repeated. Predictive means something which is going to happen in future. You're predicting it. For example, you're doing a forecasting. Now, how do you do a forecasting? For example, one particular airline want to understand that how many people are going to travel in a particular month. So for that, what they do, student, is they use the historical data, maybe of 3 years, 5 years, and these data, this data set is basically used to predict that how many customers, they do a forecasting with that, which is called prediction, that how many customers are going to avail the service in a particular sector, in a domestic sector or international sector. What will be the load? Depending on that, they schedule the number of flight for that particular sector. Let's assume that, let's say Indigo, they have to introduce the flight in all the domestic sector. Now they will analyze using the historical data and predict that which sector is a fast moving sector, where they have the maximum load of passengers. And they use the AI model to predict, because sometimes what happens, the situation doesn't remain same. The situational factor, environmental, government policies always change. Today also there was a news on government policies on the airline tickets. So all these can change, and this can reshape the human, your sales forecasting. So you need to basically use a quarterly or a monthly sales data for certain number of years and solve a prescriptive problem. So prescriptive problems can be solved with a structured and repeated steps, which is known. You know the answer, that this is the way this can be handled. So AI can solve prescriptive problems. You can also say that AI can also go to an extent, I'm talking about no code AI, can also take certain factors into consideration and build a forecasting model with the help of, for example, the historical data, for example, in the case of airline seasons, like for example, if the summer vacations is going on, or a winter season is going on, then also they can competitors data, sometime the data of the certain other airlines, as I said. So all these kind of a data help them in solving the predictive problems. So no code AI is helpful in both prescriptive and predictive problems. Any question here? Okay. So when to use no code AI? No code AI is a tool to build AI or a particular kind of a problem where you know that there is a solution available, and whether you have expertise solution available with you. So you can do that with a no code AI. And also the no code AI is not a magic wand. For you, it has to work with certain data. It has to solve a particular problem with a known solution, with the answer which you already have. So where we will come to a particular machine learning technology techniques, which we understand the type of machine learning with supervised learning. I'm coming to that. So no code AI is a tool to make you build a very quick solution to a problem for which is repetitive in nature, where you are expertise in that, or you have the number of expertise solution available for that, and you can immediately pick a quick AI solution for that problem and you can use it. So you don't require a novel idea, you don't require anything which is not defined properly. So you can do that with a no code AI. So what I'm trying to tell you is that it's not a magic wand. It is something which a particular expertise have an idea that how to do it. It also give a support to your business problems to solve with a particular structured solution. So normally when we talk about AI, no code AI is available for supervised learning. That means the AI algorithm that can take data where you know the answer. If you look at the AI data, AI can make use of this huge volume of data and come out with the possible solutions which are not very different. For example, let me take an example and tell you this. Suppose there is a problem. You are dealing with good sets of, you are a merchant who sells wholesaler of apple, let's say, and you want to sell good apples. You are able, with your expertise, you are able to identify which are good apples, and you can spot a rotten apple. But this you can do if there is a basket of apple, and let's say you have a basket of apple with 50 apples. With a human eye and manually you can segregate the good apples and the rotten apples. You can do that. But what if you have a orchard of 10 acres with thousands and thousands of apple? How do you go individually to each tree? Or suppose if you have a warehouse where you're storing the fruits for shipment to the retailers, so how do you how do you identify and spot the number of bad apple? Because if you keep the spoiled or bad and rotten apple in those good apples, and it is going to take some time to transport that, the other apple also going to get spoiled in the barrels. And so how do you do it? How do you use? So here we can use a no code AI to build an AI to spot the bad apple in the farm or in the warehouse, where the data is huge, where the volume of the data is huge. With a few data, you can easily manually do it. You don't require AI to do that. But with a huge volume of data, it is very difficult to segregate. It is very difficult to classify data. So AI is, it is very easy to build this kind of a spotting or this kinds of a classification with the help of no-code AI. Because here what happens is you already know how to spot a rotten apple from good one. So what you're going to do is you're using the AI to spot a bad apple from the good one with your knowledge, with your vision. So you can build this using a no-code AI where you can create a supervised learning model, and supervised AI will know the answer to spot the rotten angle, because you are training the AI for that. You are programming the AI. When you are training somebody, see, one thing is, I don't know how to shoot a gun, but if I am trained, I know how to do it. So that is called supervised learning. I have been supervised. My learning is being trained by somebody, by an expertise, and I developed that expertise from somebody in supervision learning. So similarly, in the supervised learning model is used where the no-code AI know the possible answers, know how to train the AI to spot rotten angle and the good apples. I'm sorry here. So here you are trying to hammer to the nail of the problem, because you know the right tools to solve the problem. You already know the answer, how to spot and identify the rotten eggs from rotten apples from the good ones. So that's where the thing is used. Okay. Now I will do one exercise and show you all these what I am trying to give you a lecture on. So before going ahead, let us take this exercise where we require 3 steps in building no-code AI. So when we see a business application, suppose in sales or maybe in a marketing, I have shown you 4 people. One was in marketing, one was in engineering department, in customer support, or it can be a warehouse or a trailing. So as we already know that AI is best suited for supervised learning, where you already know the solution, you already know the answers. So let us do this exercise and solve a particular business problem. So if you want, students can open a notepad or open a notebook, and you can particularly think of a business problem which you can solve. And you can also write the prescriptive set of the steps to solve that particular kind of a problem, and train your AI or do a supervised learning AI and solve that. So your AI can be solved with this thing. So let us see this particular problem. As I've already told all these things to you. We are basically trying to solve a problem where we are going to recognize a person face as one of the 7 billion people in the world with a predictive problem. So predicting means that from, for example, if a computer see a person, like when you see a person, you can easily tell that she is Ram, she is Nahan, she is Nathan, she is Sharmila. All those kinds of name you can tell by looking at the feature, and you are not trained on that. Yeah, there's no supervised learning in this. That so you go to a school and then you start, and where the people say, you know what, Nahan looks like this, or maybe the Shamila look like this. So these are certain things which is a human intelligence, human capability, where a human capability enable a human brain to identify and differentiate between a smaller differences. For example, for a computer, a particular person can go to a classification of a person as male or female. More than that, it can't identify. It can take certain characteristic which has been trained for a computer to recognize. It will be trained on the basis of the hair, maybe the long hair, or maybe the certain characteristic which belongs to male, or certain characteristic which belong to female. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is that what kind of solution. So when you're talking about a particular business problem, you have to first identify that what is a problem, what is the steps to solve that solution, and then develop an AI model. So I will take a problem here, a business problem here, and that business problem is to identify the customer. This is a problem, business problem, which I'm taking into consideration, that identify the customer to send promotional coupon, right? If you remember, I gave you one example last time when I was teaching you AI. And I told you that how Tesco is, or Target, sorry, Target in US, one of the biggest retail chain. They're a very famous case study in Harvard Business Review, that how they have certain called pregnancy prediction score. Pregnancy prediction score help them in identifying from the sales pattern, from the purchase pattern of the consumer, whether a particular female is pregnant or not, or whether and which trimester she is, and when is she going to deliver. Depending on that, they send them promotional coupon on mails. So I just now, if you remember, I will just tell that again, that one particular person went to a Target store and he asked that, how can you send a promotional mail of, pregnancy to my teenage daughter? What are you trying to suggest? You're trying to suggest that she should become pregnant. And they also thought that why it has happened. And then when they analyzed, and they found that through the data that this particular girl was actually purchasing those kinds of stuff which normally a pregnant woman will buy, like food supplements, zinc, iron supplement, non-scented perfumes, non-scented cosmetics, toiletries, which normally women take because if they are normally allergic, or maybe they feel nauseatic if they have they use scented. Some women they use. And what they do is they segregate this data into similar behavior. For example, the data of all the pregnant women who have the similar purchase behavior or pattern are segregated. And from that, the AI, so this data set is basically sent to AI model, and the AI model predict whether the woman is pregnant and in which trimester she is in. So depending on that, this is just one example. So almost all the retailing company does that, especially the e-commerce company. They identify through your purchase behavior, through your search, history, the browsing history. They can identify that what do you like, what is your need, and what kind of promotional coupon should be sent to you through emails, or maybe through SMS, or maybe through WhatsApp. So also the second thing is identifying the customer, what kind of promotional coupon you want to send. Suppose this is a kind of a marketing department who has this particular problem, and also they want to identify how it affects the customers and marketing department. They want to know this, how can look at the last year campaign. So what is this possible solution they have? They can look at the last year campaign list of the customers to understand the factor which made a successful campaign. So they have to come up with a campaign to increase the sales. Now, in order to come up with a campaign to increase the revenue and increase the conversion rate, they have to look into solving this problem, and they get the solution from the last year campaign list. From the last year campaign list, they can get the customer list, and also they can identify the factor which can actually lead to a successful campaign, which can actually lead to an increase in the sales. Now, the step 2 is write out why the solution to that problem is predictive, because you are trying to predict something based on a historical data, based on a prescriptive solution you already have. Because you know that this is how we are going to predict the sales. This is how we are going to identify a list of the possible customers which are basically using this. So if you can use the list of the steps to solve a particular problem, and this can be solved through a program. So is it predictive or prescriptive? Can anybody tell? Just now I explained. When there is a business problem where I said that they want to identify the target customer to whom they want to send a promotional launch offer or a new product. And they have the previous campaign data available with them. So is it predictive or prescriptive?
Predictive.
Predictive. So they are trying to predict actually. But I am asking whether this is a prescriptive problem or predictive problems. Yes, because they already have a solution. Problem is predictive. But the solution is prescriptive, right? Where they already know from the last campaign that these are the people who will get attracted and how they can get influenced, and whether this is from whether it is a failed campaign or a successful campaign will give them certain insight. So you basically whether you require an AI to look at lot of historical data to understand which set of the consumer will have a higher probability to click on your the coupon which you're offering through campaign. You are giving a coupon, discount coupon, and you from a historical data which is also prescriptive in nature, you have a prescriptive solution in the form of historical data where you can find out that which is a demography of the customer, like which gender, what is the age, what is the background, the educational background, cultural background, in which place they can come, which will click on this coupon and go. Now the step 3. So this is actually, you are trying to have a problem which is predictive in nature, but solution is prescriptive. Okay. The third step here is list all the type of data you have related to the problem. The problem is that you need to identify the target customers for sending a particular mail campaign. You don't want to send to those people who are not interested or who cannot become your potential customers, right? So you want to predict those people, and this is the solution, which is problem is predictive, but solution is prescriptive. So you need to first identify that what kind of data I can use to train the AI. So you want a list of the, for that, what you can do is you can go to the marketing department, ask them to give you a marketing forecast of the past campaign record. Because when they did the past campaign, they also had a forecasting, which is predictive in nature. Was that accurate? Was there is any deviation in that? So we want to list all the data you have that could help you in solving this particular problem. And this can be done with the help of no-code AI model. So I will just take you through that. Let us go to the site. So again, as I said that, you have the 3 steps model. The step 1, if you can see here, is collect the data, identify what kind of data you want to solve that problem. I will show you in the software itself how to do that, these 3 steps. And for building a AI model, the first step is to collect the data, the relevant data which you want. Okay. And the second step is organize the data. Okay. Organize the data into categories, 2 sets. I'll show you that, then you will understand what I'm talking about. And the third step is train the model. Okay, to predict. Okay. Any doubts so far, so that we can go to the thing? And training the AI model is also called data engineering. So training the model using the no-code AI tool, I'm going to illustrate that. And I'm going to take the computer vision, which is the AI trained model for images and videos. So computer vision steps I'm going to use and show you an example. And the AI table tool which I'm going to use now is called Teach Table Machine with google.com. So let me take you through that first.
Okay. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
I have a doubt.
Yeah, tell me.
Where should we use this no-code AI in real time?
So just now I just told you that you have to use the no-code AI only where you have a set of solutions in supervised learning. As I said, I don't know whether you people have done supervised or unsupervised learning. But if you I'll just show you the example now and you will be able to understand better, where you have a set of solution already available. For example, you know how to arrive to a particular solution, and you have a set of data already with you, and so you can train the AI model and predict something for the future with certain accuracy. I'm not saying the 100% accuracy. You can build a 100% accurate predictive model also. So I'll just take you to the steps, okay? And then you will understand. So you all can see, this is Teach Table Machine by Google.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So what is Teach Table Machine? I'll just take you through this. So a little bit inside. And then I want all of you to practice on this because this is a very, very important and very good site.
People are training computers and creating machine learning models to explore all kinds of new ideas. New ways to interact. Yes. To understand the world, to play, and experiment. But machine learning is pretty intimidating to get into. So we've been wondering, what if it wasn't? With Teachable Machine, we set out to make it easier for anyone to create machine learning models without needing to write any machine learning code. When it first launched in 2017, it allowed everyone to get a feeling for what machine learning is all about. But now, Teachable Machine puts the power of machine learning in your hands, allowing you to save your models and use them in your own projects.
So let's say you want to build a model to recognize you versus your dog. You just open up the site, record samples of you and samples of your dog. Click train, and you instantly have your own machine learning model, which you can use in your sites, apps, and more. You can upload your model to host it online or download it to work entirely on device.
With Teachable Machine, you can create custom models for all sorts of things. Using images, audio, or even poses. Personalized machine learning models for the things that matter to you. And folks have already been trying it out, using Teachable Machine in their own experiments, solving problems in their communities, or even just at home. Start creating and see where your ideas take you at g.co/teachable machine.
So I'll just show you also some example here. So basically it has 3 steps. Firstly, you need to have a data set. So we will be using images here. And I will take an example of differentiating between dog and mops because I've collected certain images. So I will show you. But it will not be very accurate. I'll show you the fault also in that. And then we will go to accuracy. So first you have to gather and understand. So you will have 2 classes of data. For example, if I have to differentiate between a dog and mop, so the first class will be dog, where I will take all the dogs. For example, when the example what I was doing, instead of going to the dog and mop, first I will tell you that the apple, the good apples and the rotten apples. All the good apple images on all possible view you can take and put it as good apple in the class 1. In the class 2 data set, you can take the images of rotten angle, rotten, images of all sort of rotten apples and put it into the class 2 and name it as, class 2 data set, rotten apple. And then what you can do is you can click on train your model. And once you do that, then you can just, if you want, you can export that model also. And it will tell you. So what happens, you place an image in front of the camera and it will predict whether it is a rotten apple or it is a good apple. So the accuracy will come only when you have a better set of data sets. Okay, students, can I go ahead and tell you what can I, so how do we do this? So let's see. And so this is all free of cost. So now if I'm here in the new project, yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the image now, image project. So I will do standard image modeling and I can use a webcam also and upload, but I'm not showing you an accurate data because I could not get the correct data set for that. So the problem here is that I'm trying to identify, but before I go ahead with this, I will just show you the problem first and then go ahead with the solution. Okay. And then I will show you with example how the solutions can be used. Just give me a few seconds. And if you want, you can go ahead and do one exercise with me later and give you some exercise to do. So this already I told you the 3 steps. So computer vision, we are going to take this particular thing, AI model which we are building to train using images and videos, computer vision problems. So I've just shown you all this. So the problem which I'm taking is that I'm taking the images of mobs, and I've also taken certain images of dogs. And there can be a certain kinds of dog which can look like a mob. So how does a particular image of a mob is recognized as mob, or even an image of a dog which looks like little similarity with mob also is recognized as dog? Okay. So this is going to be the case which I'm going to take. So let me go through this and take the case here. Now I will choose the image. I didn't get the time to, download the entire data set, which I could have done, but it was difficult for me to download because the file was big. So I just copied certain photos from Google. You can see here, so I'll just use certain images over here. This one is there. Open up. I've uploaded, and I will edit this, and I will write dogs. Then I will go to the class 2. I will go write mobs, and I'm going to upload the images of mobs. Now there's only 2 samples. I will upload more photos here. Let me see. And here also I'm going to upload some more photos. I have to upload now the photo of a dog which looks like a mob. Right. I have uploaded the sets, 2 sets. One is the data set is dogs, images, 5 images, samples. Here I've uploaded, but this will not be accurate because I have not uploaded all the photos. It depends on your data set, how well you have, uploaded or stored your data. I'm going to train the model. So see how fast it is. Okay. Now this is a webcam I'm using, and it's telling me that I am also a dog. And imagine this is no accuracy here. So, but if I use here a file and take an image of a mob dog, see here, it's able to identify that it is 100%. So similarly, I will just go here and take a mob. You can see here. Accuracy is 92%. Okay. So it depends on the students that how this is a very basic example I just told you with images. I will show you a better example than this with a good database which I could download. And I will tell you also the source from where you can do your project and download this. I will give you the repository also of GitHubs, which you can use for learning this particular things. So just give me a few seconds. I'll just go to the second problem and teach you. Okay, so this problem I have shown you how we can identify a dog and mob, or maybe a mob looking dog. So this was a test case. This I've already shown you using teachable machine. Now let's look at this. This is a problem I'm giving to you. So you have to build a vision model for tire defect. That means there is a business problem. A tire manufacturing company wants to check for defect in the tire to improve their manufacturing quality. So what happens when a tire manufacturing companies manufacture the number of tires? There may be thousands and thousands of tires which are produced. Your job is to build an AI using no-code AI tool to solve a problem, which is to improve the manufacture quality, and you will get a data set of all the pictures of the tires from manufacturing process, and you have to use the computer vision and train the AI using these images of all the tires and identify which tire has defect. Okay, so let's start first collecting the data. First step is what? The first step is that you have to collect the data. So you have to collect the pictures of all tires, all the possible tires which are in good conditions or bad conditions, whatever it is. You can collect it from the internet. You can open, you can collect it from the all the angles. You have to take the tires pictures, because the better is your data set, better is the prediction. You can also take the pictures in all kinds of lighting, day, night, so that if any kind of a picture which comes which a little blurred, still the AI can recognize and tell whether there's a defect in the tire or not. And then once you have done, you have to organize these pictures into the good tires and the defective class. So you have to make two classes, like the way I made a class dog and mob. So you have to go to the teach table, upload this data, the image data which you have taken from the tire, and you have to create a class of good and defective class and train the model to identify. Once you train the model using no code AI, you just have to, it will tell you when it identifies. Suppose if you are giving any kind of a non-defect or defective tire, it will immediately tell you and predict whether this is one. So these are the steps which you have to do, and this you have to do on your own. Now, how do you get these tires images? It's not possible to get these images on your own. So there are certain sites which can help you with these data sets. So students, you can make a note of it. There's a site called Kaggle. Okay, I will take you through that site. This is a Kaggle site where you can search for a whole set of the data, especially the image data, right? And this data set you can download and you can upload on the teachable AI tool, non-code AI tool, and you can predict. So you can just build a AI computer vision AI model using these kinds of trained picture which are available. These are all the public data sets of images which you can find. Thousands of image of the good tires and bad tires, oxidized, cracked tires, all kinds of sample you can see that. I will also take you through the GitHub repository which I have created for you. I want all of you to solve this particular problem. You can just go to Kaggle and write tire texture image recognition. I will send you the link also now. And in that, you can try this particular exercise yourself and try to solve a problem of identifying a defective tire from the good one. Okay, so let me take you through the Kaggle first and show you. Then I will take you to the other problems. Any questions so far? And Kaggle is widely used by machine learning and the AI people. So this is a very good, all of you should make a note of this site. These are the sites which will not be known to you, but this is a public site or a site for data sets for, especially for machine learning and all. So I'll take you to the site now. See ya. You can register with Google. Okay, I'll just sign in first. Just a minute. Let me. I've already signed in some of the things where I will go. Just give me a few seconds. Yeah. I will just take you through the Kaggle side. See, I've already signed with my, if you can see here. So I just have to share, I have to type here. Yesterday I was doing this. So tire texture image recognition. This is the problem which I was telling you. I'll share the link with you. You can see here, you can download all these files. 742 MB. You have a lot of images over there, and you can download. There are two testing data and training data directories are there, and you can upload and you can do that. So this, I want you people to do this. And the second one is, I will just share the GitHub repository with you all. Just give me a second. Going to take you to the repository and show you. I will give you the repository also. Okay, so students, I have shared one link with you all. I request all the, the training center to take a note of that particular site or particular repository. It's a LinkedIn course. I have the access to it, the premium LinkedIn courses. So I can show you this. This is a learning no code AI. You can learn from this particular course if you have, access. So this is the data sets which I was telling. The first challenge was that, so you can download this from Kaggle, that tire one, and also certain more are there. This I'm going to show you now, and all these kinds are available. Data set is available in this repository. So have you all noted it? Can somebody tell me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So please make use of this particular repository, and I will just take you to the other problems which we can share. Can you see the screen, PPT screen, PowerPoint? Can you all see that? Okay. So this problem, I want you all the students to try on their own, and they can also try certain more problem. Now, next, how can you solve a problem with no code AI? To understand the no code AI ecosystem, we have to actually know the problem which we want to solve, and is there any answer for that, which I already told you. So how many no code AI tools are there? I just told you one particular tool, landscape, which was from Google. But there are a lot of others which are also there. So you have to understand what kind of data you are using to train your AI.
Just a second.
Depending, hello?
Ma'am, just a second. Ma'am, PPT has not been shared. I mean, we are not able to see PPT. What we can see is that Google link.
Okay, fine. Can you see now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when I'm talking about no code AI, which can be used, so you have to first understand, students, that what kind of data, type of data you are using. If you are using image, to train computer vision models. Then you have to you can use this teachable Google tool which I have told you. If you are using words, basically to understand the NLP, natural language processing, to build like, for example, a chatbot or maybe a language translators, you can use that kind of data sets. So you have to use a different kind of model. I'm going to show you one more now. I have shown you the image model. I will show you the number models now. So the numbers in spreadsheets also you can use basically to train a machine learning models or to create a machine learning model with no AI code tool. So I will be using now no code AI tool to solve a particular specific industry problem. And this specific problem I will show you that there are no code AI tool available with all kind of companies. But let me tell you students, IBM, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, all of them have no code AI platform. I showed you Google. You can find out from IBM, Microsoft, and Amazon what are their no code AI tool and use that. Okay. So as I said that based on the kind of data, whether it is an image data or a voice and text or a number data, you can use. I will just show you something if you want. I will share this PPT with your Harinakshi ma'am, and in Kionix, maybe she can share it with you all. So you can always make a note of these no-code AI tool for different kinds of data sets. For example, if you want to do the object recognition, then teachable machine, I just showed you that if you want to identify a particular object from image or video, you can do with teachable machine. I found it is very good. Sway AI is also there, but teachable machine from Google is free of cost, so you can use that. If you want using a voice or a text data, so you can use Monkey Learn, which is also very good. Google Natural Language AI is free of cost. IBM Watson Natural Language Understanding. Sway AI has all the object recognition and everything. Our tools are there. If you are using numbers, you can use Akio, which I will be using and showing you now. You can also use Microsoft Azure AI. That is also very good. So you can make a note of this, students. When you go for an interview, they might ask you that what kind of AI tools you can use for, train the model for object recognitions or solving a predictive problems or prescriptive problems of voice. Okay. So now, then when we have to answer that what kind of, how do we solve a particular industry problem? So when we talk about the particular industry problem, as I already told, and you might have known that the training data set is very, very important to identify. And for that, you have to very much identify you have to answer three questions. One, what kind of data you have with you already, right? What is the industry vertical you are trying to find a solution for? And what is your functional area of working? So for that, what kind of data you have? For example, if you want to create a chatbot. So for that, you need the data like words, sentences, and you need NLP tool, natural language processing tool. What is the industry vertical? Any industry can use chatbot. It can be a banking industry. It can be e-commerce. It can be any industry which can use the chatbot. What is your functional area of working? It is chatbots are basically used for customer support. So these three questions you have to answer. If you are using a voice assistant AI model, if you're creating, then in that case, kind of data which you will use is audio files, all kinds of sounds and audio files. For example, Alexa. Alexa in India, is using Amitabh Bachchan voice. Also, you can hear, Amitabh Bachchan waking you up and saying that good morning. I'm waking you. Good morning from Amitabh Bachchan, and this is Amitabh Bachchan calling you. All these kinds you can do it. So kind of the audio which you want. So you need that. What kind of industry vertical? Again, any industry uses the voice assistants. Where do you use voice assistants? In marketing and sales functional area. Okay. So let's see one demo and no code AI with machine learning. So in this demo, we want to understand what kind of data I have, to show you, or do you have, what is industry vertical and what is your functional area of working. So I have taken a kind of a business solution where I'm using number data, number Because as I said that the kind of data can be number, it can be image, it can be video, it can be text, it can be audio. So my first question answers what kind of data you have. Here in this case, the demo which I'm showing is the kind of data I have is number and strings. And the second question is that what is the industry vertical? So I'm using a telecom industry vertical, which I'm going to show you now. It's telco industry, which I'm using it. The third question is the functional area. So the functional area here I'm going. So let's say the scenario is I'm a business manager at a telco business and I want to reduce the number of customer churn. Churn means that I want to understand how many customers are going to leave and I want to retain them. So means attrition. So I want to understand how do I reduce the customer leaving us. That means the customer churn. So I want to train or build an AI model to predict whether a customer will leave my services in future or not. And which data is going to help me in this? The data from the customer's information, like how many times a customer might have called the call centers, what is his, complaints, has he called for complaint, has he called for anything, all entire data I want about every customers. So what is the kind of data here I'm using? I'm going to use the numbers and string. I will also use a certain a table. I will be using a table of number and string. I have customer ID. For example, I'll just show you here. The customer ID is a string. The gender is a string. String means in words. So customer ID is a alphabet numerical sequences which I have given. Gender is male and female. I have taken here. And then if you see the customer, I have also categorized the customer as senior customer or citizen customer, which is in numbers. Then I have the other demographic of the customer, which is also a string. So I have the citizen numbers also, which is in 1 and 0. The tenure of the customer, how long a customer has been with a company, that is also in a number like 1 year, 34 years, 2 years, 8 years, all those numbers are there. What service the customer has bought from the company, that is also a string. That whether the customer has bought a landline or is it a DSL services, is it a the kind of internet services, what they have availed from the company, that is also a string. String mean text. Whether now we are basically, the problem is we are interested in paperless billing. And this paperless billing, we want to ask customers, do they prefer? Because in India, people still like to have the paper billing. If whether it's a credit card or it's a gas bill or it's an electricity bill. So there are only few progressive customers who are happy with paperless billing, where the bill comes in the email. Normally, most of the people around, you can say 85% of the people are happy with the physical billing in their hand, because they can keep a record of that, they feel. And the email billings are normally ignored. They will not pay attention to this. So whether a person is interested in paperless billing or not, that answer can be in yes and no. That is also a string. That is the last column in the customer churn, which is not shown here, which says whether the customer will leave or not leave. That answer is also in yes and no. Okay. And now, the second question which we have, this is our data, which is in string and in number. And the second question which we have to answer is, what is the industry? It's a telecom industry. So can we use a no-code AI tool for this industry? Yes, we can do that. The third question is, which functional area of the work it is? Is it from operation? It is from marketing? This is from marketing. Because this particular data will help the marketing campaign, marketing people to define a marketing strategy to retain those people who have a possibility to churn or leave the organization on the basis of prediction that they will going to leave your services and take some other. So how do you lock in those customers? So we'll look for no-code AI tool, which will work with this machine learning. And I'm going to use a tool called Accio. And you can enter. Accio looks like this. I'm going to take you to that. And this Accio, you can enter the data set as training set. You can predict and get the AI to build out within a minute. Then again, the data set is available in Kaggle, as I've already shown you. You can download this data set of telco company from the Kaggle, and you can try out on the EQ yourself. I want you all to do this once I show you. And so what I'll do is I will upload the telco data sets in IQ, and which I have saved in my computer. And I will be checking for the customer churn and want to see whether the paperless billing work to reduce the customer churn or not. So remember, I'm building a AI using no code AI, tools, and I want to understand if you give a customer paperless billing, will it impact in their churn or not? So I'm going to make a AI to do prediction for the customer database on the basis of paperless billing will lead to the customer churn or not. Okay, so I'm going to do that now for you. So I'm going to stop this PPT. I'll go to Accio and show you. I'll just log in, just give me a few seconds, and then I'll bring it with you. I hope you people are able to understand this. Okay, so let me take you to the EQ tool. Can you all see?
Yes, ma'am.
So I can just create a new flow, and I have to connect the training set data. This is the first step. I can just name it something if I want. Let's say take a new data. Okay, so let me check. This is already done actually. Let me see. I can create a new flow. It's not allowing me. So I have already saved this, which is already uploaded in this because I have logged in yesterday. What you could do is, because you can just go to the table and because this is already uploaded. So I have this telco customer. I'll show you how I got this data. So I will just go to Kaggle. Can you all see Kaggle?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll just type here telco customer churn. And you can see here the telco customer churn is already available here. So I can go here and I can download this file, which I have already done. So when I have downloaded this, I have gone and uploaded. So it is there in the repository. So I'll just go here and take this and I will click on this, save and continue. Then I'm going to predict. Now, if you see that when I'm going to the second step, first I've uploaded the data. All my fields are available here. See, senior citizen, partners, dependent, tenures. I have to use the paperless billing here, which is my, and I will create a predictive model. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Yes. So you can see now this is going to work. The overall accuracy is 68.8%, which is good enough, not bad. So you can see here. So the factors which basically influence is these are the factors which are top factors. And you can see here the segment. And just check the report. Let's see here. So it is showing me now that how many people, this is a decision threshold graph, which basically show me the uncertain and likely and all. I don't know why it is not coming. Yesterday it came, it's not coming. Where you actually get a table which will show you that how many people are about to leave your, I don't know why it is not coming. Let me see if I can go to the other model. Just a minute. I'll just check my other models. Okay, fine. So this and this. Now I did a mistake. I'll just show you that I have two factors. I have to see whether the paperless billing is going to result into churning of the customers or not. So I have to use both the fields over here, which I'll show you. So here, if you can see, I have selected paperless billing and churn, and then I create a predictive model. It's going to take some time. You can see the kind of steps it is performing. So it's going to come soon. You can see here the classification which has happened, and impact of likelihood on no. This has come. Top factors. So it basically predicts that paperless billing is not going to actually mostly result in churning. So that's how you have to first identify that what are the factors you want to take. So this will be helpful if you have a particular knowledge or a particular kind of a thing. So I can see a model report over here. I can download that and I can see this. See your top factors which can influence. Internet service, no. Online security, streaming movies, streaming TV, monthly charges, segmentations, all decisions are over here. And then you can see that. So this is how basically you can use ACU also for numbers, for Teachable Google tool, you can use it for, images and all. And this you can use it for that. So let me continue and go ahead with the other solutions which are also available. Okay. Now, this I've already shown you. So you can see that what will be the results which comes. So what kind, if suppose you don't want to learn coding and you want to use no code AI, is there a possible future for you? Is there is a potential career with no code AI? Yes, there is. So I'll show you that. What are the possible career with no code AI? You can become a data, for example, you have a business and you're not an engineer, you don't want to learn. So you can use all these. If you have a database, it is very easy for you to do all these kinds of prediction. You can become a data engineer, AI engineer, AI product manager, quality assurance, AI data and AI architect, data engineering, AI center of excellence, MLOPs, and customer success managers. So how do you continue and learn yourself? I don't want to just leave you here and tell you that, okay, these are the some, I've given you a limited idea that this is how the no code AI tool can work and solve and do certain prescriptive and solve prescriptive and predictive problems and train the AI with supervised learning. But how do you go ahead and learn this further? So as we have seen that machine learning, NLP, computer vision, these are the three major categories of no code AI tool. The best way to continue your learning with no code AI tool is to pick one of these three AI type based on what kind of tools or what kind of software you're going to use. For example, machine learning you can use for numbers and string. Okay. So machine learning can be used for number and string type of data. I'm just telling you that what kind of data works well with which kind of AI tool. So if you are using numbers and data, then you should use machine learning tools. If you are using the computer visions images, for images and video, then you can use NLP. You can use, again the computer vision. Sorry, if you're using images, I'm so sorry. If you're using images and video, then you use computer vision. If you are using text and language, then use NLP. And you can also look into the specific industry type and no code AI tool for that industry and become expertise in that. For example, you want to build your career in bank. So you can find out which is the no code AI tool for banking solution for banking industry. So you can become an expert with no code AI platform and develop your expertise in one particular functional area or specific industry and try to solve the business problem. So not necessarily. And for you, as you are learning the coding also, I will tell you that try to also learn this, because this is going to also help you in understanding the real business problem and how to solve that business problem with no code AI, which can become a prototype and then develop a code for it. The way I told you that in a no code web development, you can do with the help of a content management system like WordPress or Wix. You can build a site prototype and then you develop a code and build a similar kind of thing. So first try it with no code AI tools and then try to build a coding and try to develop the similar kind of a model, okay, or algorithm for that. So this is one thing. So here I'm going to stop. If there is a question, I will take it. But have you all, made a note of all these three sites which I gave you? I want all of you to practice this. One site I gave you for that application, one case study which I have done on endangered animal. So you should make a note of that. The second which I gave you was a data repository, which was Kaggle, and is teachable machine from Google to do image or computer vision processing or training the AI model to do that. The third one is AQ for numbers and strings. And also I gave you a Git repository, link to get those data and practice what I did a demo today. So any question now?
No, madam.
No? The students don't ask questions. Makes the job of the instructor very simple, no challenge. I hope you got some information today on no code AI. All these, they see your coding, everything, you have a better people and expert to teach you that. So that's why I'm not focusing on that. I'm just focusing on application part and trying to give you something which is actually widely used nowadays by industry and business people, and how these tools are available, what are the tools available on the internet or the web application tools which you can freely use. Okay. So should we wind off?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
I have a question, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, basically, like you have given an example. So the no-code AI part is good for when we have a large set of data, like history.
Yeah.
So when we don't have the data of history, like we should go for the actual AI.
See, yeah, that's what I said. No code AI work only with prescriptive problems where you have data sets, the historical data, and you have solution steps to solve the problem. But if you have no data sets, there is some kind of a future business or any future problem you want to solve, then you have to use the coding. There you can't use no code AI.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Anybody else?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
In the example you have shown, when the dog versus mobs,
Yeah.
when you use the same image for the mob, it was showing only 92% accuracy.
What did you say? Your voice is breaking.
In the dog versus mob,
Yeah.
For the mobs you use the same image as image that you used to train the model, but it was showing only 92% accuracy.
Yes. Why it is? Because I told you that, see, it all depends on the data sets you have. If your data set is incomplete, inaccurate, or it is not 100%, like, you need to have variety of database. So you try it with the tier one, which I gave you. That will give you the good accuracy. If your data is not complete, see, I showed you, I also got 82% of accuracy because I have not collected all dogs photos. I have not collected all kinds of mobs. And maybe the similarity between certain pictures which have a similar, like I gave you one dog which looks like a mob. So I need to collect a huge set of database, all possible set of database from image database from all sides. That's why I gave you that site called data, Kaggle. This I just downloaded few pictures from Google and I uploaded. With that, the accuracy will not come. Accuracy will come only when you have a huge data set with all possible image, type. Okay. Yeah, anybody else?
Ma'am, what is the difference between low code and no code?
So low code, what happens is, see, coding will do everything what no code will do. The no code is used basically for the purpose of solving something which you already have and you don't have time and energy to develop a code and do something. So what the industry is doing, Google, IBM, and Microsoft, they're doing, they are developing this no code AI tool to make the job simple and easier. See, they already have the algorithm and they make it, and just you have to come upload the database and train it and predict it. So for supervised learning and for prescriptive problems where you already have repetitive, you are doing a repetitive thing. You have a manufacturing unit, you are trying to identify the defects, and this is something which you always do. It's a routine process. So why do you want to write a coding problem for them? So coding will be helpful only when you don't have anything which is where the solutions is not very old or structured, where the solutions are very new. So you are going to predict. For example, now I have given you all projects. I told you some very good project has come to me where they said that We want to have this particular problem in our society or in our area, and there's no solution for that. So how do we find out a solution? I guess that some days before I was looking at the news, and they said one particular dam in one place, I don't know which place it is, it has a crack, and they found it later. So before the crack happens, can you predict? Now this might have never happened. This might be a rarest to rare case. So you don't have a historical or a prescribed solution to identify that if the pressure of the water or whatever factor can create a crack in the dam. So how do you predict? For example, IBM helped Chennai to come out with they have an AI center in Chennai with they got a government project to predict the tsunami or any kind of these kinds of thing with the computer image of the weather forecasting. They get it from the satellite image. Satellite images are not very clear. Most of the images are blurred. Most of the images are inappropriate. Here you will use coding, where the the data sets is not it's incomplete, it is inappropriate, it approximate, and you have to train and you have to do unsupervised learning, where supervised learning is something where the computer is trained on what is already known. So computer follow a prescribed set of steps and predict. Here you can use no code AI. But in some cases where you don't know what are the ways, how will you predict that when tsunami is going to come? There is nobody who has done this. There is nobody who can find out this. So in that case, you will use the coding and you will try to find out a solution with the data which is not approximate, which is incomplete. There is no previous experience. There is no previous solution. There is no expert. Some expert knowledge you will try to build to identify that, okay, fine, if the wind is this, if this is there, this is going to influence and predict the tsunami, which will come on which day and which time. But the accuracy level, again, in this also will be not 100%, right? In coding. No code AI tool, the accuracy level can reach to 100%. But AI code tool, hardly it will reach to AI, 100%. Okay. Yeah. Any other question?
Hi, ma'am. This is Ashwini from.
Yeah. Tell me.
Ma'am, I have heard about low code and no code, ma'am. But there is one more like auto machine learning software which were developed on recent AI platforms. Ma'am. What is what is the difference between low code and auto machine learning software? Ma'am?
So, low code or no code means that that you have automated machine learning is basically applying your machine learning models to real world problem by automation. See, again, you can use both. You can use coding also, and you can there is one site called Google Auto ML, which is free. So you can use that, and if you want to go for a premium feature, you have to pay some $20 per hour, and you have a better accuracy than no code in that, and you can try both the combination hybrid model. You can use AI no code tool also, AI tool also. So that you can do. Google Auto ML, I have not tried, but I've heard about it, that it can automate certain process, and it will, especially it works with the computer vision. And that's what I have learned about it. Even Microsoft Azure also has the Auto ML, but Google is the best one, which I can suggest you. So normally for coded experience, coding engineering students, Auto ML will be a better solution. But if you are doing it for the first time, then you can go ahead with the no code AI tool. See, no code AI tool will give you an idea that, this is how the problems are solved. And then you can build a AI code, and Auto ML will give you the coding. Automatically, you don't have to actually think a lot about that. So that can actually help.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we will wind off. Already to 7 o'clock.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
So students, you can just mention and you can tell your, the Curix department, Arinakshi ma'am or Shweta ma'am, that what you want to learn. I thought I will take AI and Python today and talk about no code AI, because something which you're already learning in your center, I should focus on that. Next class, again, I will take you through some industry solutions on AI and Python. and maybe on a combination of cloud computing also. And I will also try to focus on cybersecurity, some of the tools which we can learn. Let's see some no-code cybersecurity tools also, because I use the web development and AI in Python. Let us go into the cybersecurity also. Let me focus on that. Okay, so all the best to you. Have a nice week. Bye.
Thank you.